Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we have a huge race coming your way here at the Charlotte ROVAL at, of course, the Charlotte Motor Speedway now, as we have both the Xfinity Series as well as the Cup Series coming at you in today's episode. But first up, we have the Xfinity side of things, where I had myself in the car to get a little bit more experience and just kind of get more ready for the Cup race coming up at you guys here. Now, as of course in the Cup Series side of things, this is an elimination race here at the Charlotte ROVAL, and as of already doing the race, I can tell you right now, it comes down right to the final lap to determine who makes it into this next round of the playoffs. Now, as we would get underway though for the Xfinity Series race, I actually didn't prepare the road course car very well, so it was kind of not a great car here that we were bringing into the ROVAL, but I would get aggressive right away. You saw me send it up the inside 3 wide there on Harrison Burton. Now, as I try to make my way through the field, of course, one of the final times I'm going to be in the Xfinity car, because Paul Menard, as we announced, will be full-time in this car next season in the career mode now. So he will be the full-time Xfinity driver for our team, and hopefully he can bring us a championship and some experience now, as you're seeing a bit of a trend of new teams and stuff kind of bringing in experienced past drivers like Red Bull is doing with Casey Kane and whatnot. But I continue moving my way forwards. I was actually up towards the top 5 position now here on just the first lap of this race, as I got to the back of the 10 there of Sheldon Creed, but kind of struggled after this. We came through though down into the bus stop chicane here, and I had a chance to try make a pass there on the 10, and sure enough I would complete that. But after that it was just a struggle. I was running P4, but I would run down Kevin Magnussen there in the 22, get up the left hand side of him, and sure enough I would now move up into P3. But that was pretty much as far as I could get there, as you see me playing defense on the 22 of Magnussen there into that bus stop chicane. Now, as this was actually on the final lap of this race here, as we went into oval turns 3 and 4 for the final time. So it was Jeremy Clements who actually ran away with the victory here in Charlotte now, as he came through out of oval 4 heading into that final chicane here. But we're going to come through to get P3, and this is going to be a very solid points day for us as we close into the back of Williams. Actually a run to the right hand side. He barely gets us at the line there though for second place, so we have to settle for P3 here at the Charlotte ROVAL. So you're about to see the effect that had on points, as we had a great run here. As you see, some drivers like Justin Allgaier had a rough day, Haley Deegan as well. So not very good for them there. Is Sam Mayer. He actually got P35, so a very rough day for Sam Mayer, and he's had a history of having rough races this season in the career mode. He is now 27 points out there, as you see the grid, and that was actually a cutoff race, of course, as well. So that was us advancing into the next round. But we come through into the Cup Series side of things here for the Charlotte ROVAL, with the Razor paint scheme back on the car. The goal for qualifying was a 119.615. I was confident we could actually beat that. Of course, road courses are my specialty when it comes to NASCAR Heat. So we come through into turns 1, and the whole lap felt pretty decent. Definitely wasn't the greatest lap, but I remember last season at the ROVAL, I can tell you that this qualifying effort was much better than the one from last season now, as we come up through now into the bus stop chicane. And I always feel like I break way too early into here, so I was trying throughout the race. You'll see me trying to get a little bit better at that, but we come through into the final chicane, got through there, very aggressive, make it work. We come through to the line with a 117.125 and qualify P4 on row number 2 here for the Charlotte ROVAL 400. So hopefully this is a good sign here now, as you see on pole, Chase Elliott. Eric Jones, who's in a must-win situation, qualifies in the 2nd position there in the ROVAL. So definitely going to be a threat, I think, here now, as you see the rest of the order. Now, as Zane Smith finds himself down in P30, and at the very bottom of the field, we got Timmy Hill as well as Chad Fincham. Alright, boys, I mean, it's a very easy day for us. Honestly, I think if we get stage points in stage 1, we'll be locked in or something like that. So, easy task for us. Let's hopefully go out and win today. We've had a great history at road courses here this season and just in our past in general, and here we are at the Bank of America ROVAL 400 looking for another win, which would be win number 6 on the season. No playoff victories yet for us this season, but hopefully we can change that here today now, as Kyle Larson, our teammate, starts at the back after an engine change, and Ross Chastain failed technical inspection. So those two starting at the back of the field now, as we get ready to take the green flag here on row number 2, with Chase Elliott in a great position now, 10 points above the cut line, but Eric Jones in a must-win win now as the green flag is out and the round of 12 elimination race is underway here in the Bank of America ROVAL 400. Kyle Busch there in P3 as we go down into turns 1. Martin Truex Jr. up my inside as well here as we come through into turns 2. Now as Kyle Busch, he's going to try and find himself up in second place here, trying to clear the 0-2 McLaren into turns 3, but no, Jones is able to stick a nose back up the inside. Chase Elliott, he's already gone now as we come through out of turns 4. He's got close to at least a half a second lead already, maybe even about a second on himself and I now as we go down into the next few corners. We try to make a move around that left-hand side of Jones, and now we actually will be able to complete the pass here as we come through into the left-hander. So we move up into P3 already, a very solid start for us as Kyle Busch is able to hang on for that second spot over Jones. So Jones goes from second to fourth on this opening lap through the infield section of the Charlotte ROVAL. But you see, Chase Elliott took full advantage of everybody scrapping it out behind him there. He is long gone and already going to be quite the task to try and even run him down here in the first stage as we come through the bus stop chicane for the first time now, as behind Denny Hamlin and Jones, both up here towards the top 5 right now, and they're both on the outside looking in. And I will have a live playoff grid come up at the end of both stages so you guys get an idea of what the situation is here as we come through into this final chicane to come through and complete the first and opening lap here in Charlotte. A great chicane there, closes myself up to the back of the 18 of Kyle Busch here as we go down into turns 1. So trying to put the pressure on that 18 of Kyle Busch here. Now as there's actually a little bit of trouble behind us. 88 of William Byron got together with the 8 of Reddick. Gregson involved, who's above the cut line coming into this race, but a very rough start for Gregson there. Has trouble at the end of lap 1. Everybody keeps going in the right direction, and I should mention I put cautions to relax, so if we have like a single car incident, the odds of a caution coming out are pretty low here. Now as we came through though to the end of the second lap, now right to the back, actually into the back of the 18, got him a little bit sideways, side by side as we come through to start the third lap here of stage 1 now as we dive down into turns 1 side by side as we come through out of the corner. We're going to scrap it out here for that runner-up spot with Kyle Busch. Elliott not really driving too far away at this point here now as myself and Kyle continue to scrap it out. He's going to try the crossover here as we come through into the right-hander, and I'm just hoping we can get the run off right here. I jump over the curbs and unfortunately don't get that run that I was hoping for. I couldn't quite put the power down like I needed to, so we continue side by side, but once you can kind of hold it side by side on the left side here, you're in great shape going into this next corner because now you have the advantage and you should be able to clear the car like I just did with Kyle Busch now as we re-enter the oval section of the course. So into that second position here in Charlotte now as Kyle's actually going to lunge back up my left-hand side, so this battle isn't quite over yet here as we come through out of Oval 2, but you saw Elliott now long gone after this little battle, but we are clear of Kyle. I go very defensive here all the way to the left-hand side to make sure he can't dive up my inside now as we come through that chicane, and sure enough, we are able to hold him off through there, and I was very comfortable now from this point on that we would be able to hang on. So we come through that final chicane. I make actually a bit of a mistake here at the end of lap 3. I slam into the right side wall there, and now Kyle is actually able to attack to my inside again here as we go down into turns 1. Just a straight up misjudgment from myself, a very silly mistake now as we damage the right side of the car. So immediately though I get back to the attack on the 18, still comfortable and confident with the car at this point. But we go back up the inside of that 18 on the exit of the corner. You saw me hop the turtle a little bit there. That kind of messed up the momentum, so we're still side by side. But now we finally, once again, move back into that second position and try to run down the 9 car with only like a lap and a half to go at this point. So no chance we're even going to get to him. So we come through, approaching now the final lap of stage 1 as we come through, bringing back the visor cam. It's been a minute since you guys have seen this, and I definitely want to make some improvements on this coming up into the next season. Now, as I, of course, want to bring more graphics every season into the career mode, so hopefully next season we can bring even more stuff along with an improved visor cam as well here as we come through though using that. I tell you what, I should actually mention it's a lot harder to drive, it seems like, in the interior camera for me. I seem to lose quite a bit of time. As you see in my rear view mirror, Kyle Busch had actually closed up right to the back of me here as it came through into the left-hander, so he was putting on some pressure as Chase Elliott continued to just drive away here with the stage victory. Now as you see a little bit of oversteer in the car there, you can see me working that steering wheel as we come through back to the normal roof cam now, as we were now 6.5 seconds behind the 9 of Chase Elliott. He was long gone here as we go through to the final bus stop chicane here. Decided to be a little bit defensive again over the 18 because the AI have a lot more confidence under braking in that bus stop chicane than I do. So definitely we got to work on that as this race goes on, because we're giving up some crucial time right there here as we come through into oval turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Now as you have a comfortable gap over that 18 and Kyle Busch, should not have to worry. Chase Elliott, he's already come through to win the stage. Now as we come through out of that final chicane over the curbs, and we come through to finish in the second position here in stage 1. Alright boys, I damaged the car by the way, but I mean it's pretty good. I don't know if we have anything for the 9. He is really fast, but I mean we'll see what we can do in the second stage. Eric Jones managed there to get the 4th position. Denny Hamlin in 5th. Both of those drivers on the outside looking in right now. And we will be showing the live playoff grid going into stage 2 here in a few moments after the AMP segment. But no pit stop necessary here at the end of stage 1. But we look through the running order. Chase Briscoe having a rough race. He won already. But Noah Gragson, he's down in P30. And Martin Truex Jr., who we had no idea that this has happened, but he has DNF'd from the race. Martin Truex Jr., who comes into this race over 20 points above the cut line, has DNF'd. So this should absolutely be a moment where he's going to get eliminated, I would think, now as we get ready to go green for the second stage here now as we go through into the AMP segment. There you had the AMP segment. There's we're side by side battling for the lead now with our teammate Chase Elliott. You see the live playoff grid though on your screen is actually go a little bit wide there, but Truex 24 points above the cut line. But going into the third and final stage, he is going to lose a lot of points, and I do not see any way he's going to advance into the next round. Elliott 19 to the good, Gregson 15 above, Harvick and Keselowski separated by 1 spot, DiBenedetto 10 below, Hamlin 15 below, Eric Jones in a must-win scenario right now as we come through trying to put the pressure back to the 9, and we came through though losing time actually now as we came through to the end of the second lap. So Elliott had opened up the gap a little bit now with 3 laps to go in stage 2, but very disappointing for Martin Truex Jr. in his final season. DNFs in stage 1. I just don't see any way he's going to be able to get into the next round, but you never know what's going to happen here at the Charlotte Roval. There as I make a bit of a mistake there on the third lap. I just clipped that barrier, and I was really struggling here at this point in the second stage. Ryan Blaney had moved up into P3, and he had run me down here as we came through now 2 laps to go in the stage, and I'm just trying to manage the car and get to the end of the stage because I know we got a pit stop coming up here at the end of this 5th lap here. So we come through into that final chicane, approaching now the final lap. I was very aggressive through there, and we were starting to actually slowly reel in that 9 car again of Chase Elliott here as we get through turns 1 very well now as we go down into turn 2 now as Ryan Blaney still runs in P3. At this point, another mistake from myself just because the car got loose there on the exit of the corner, and we don't really damage the car fortunately, but a lot of mistakes being made from myself here in the second stage, allowing that 9 of Chase Elliott to just drive away. And I don't think it was the car being bad or anything. I think it was just simply myself being too aggressive at points in this race or in this stage. Now as we come through though down the back straightaway into the bus stop chicane for the final time here in stage 2, I sent it in very deep and actually pay the price for it there. We get very sideways again on the exit of the bus stop chicane, but we keep it straight now. But Blaney closes into within about 4 car lengths or so of us here as we go into oval 3 and 4 for the final time in stage 2. And once again, just like stage 1, Chase Elliott will breeze to a stage victory now as we come through into this final chicane here. So P2 it will be for us in stage 2, just like stage 1 now. As Martin Truex Jr., we're going to see him lose some points right here above that cut line, but at the same time, something that's really working out for him is there's not a whole lot of drivers below that cut line getting significant points. There is drivers below that cut line, though, at least picking up a few points, like Denny Hamlin, Matt DiBenedetto as well, as you're about to see the finishing order on your screen. So there it is. DiBenedetto got P8, Hamlin got P6, so you're going to see here what the situation looks like in a few moments going into this third and final stage here of the Charlotte Roval. Of course, we would come into the pit lane here, put 2 cans of fuel in the car, 4 fresh tires. We had 3 seconds of repairs to do, so I was anticipating a few positions to be lost here going into this final stage. So now we're going to have to be really careful, make sure we do not damage the car, and give ourselves an opportunity to win this race now. As you see the rest of the order, Truex 10 laps down, of course, the only driver so far to DNF from the race. We end up losing 5 spots and drop down into P7, which is actually worse than I was anticipating. So now we're starting behind Blaney, who lost some time as well on the pit stop now as a green flag is out, and the third and final stage is underway here with 13 laps to go. Denny Hamlin up in the mix now as you're about to see what the playoff grid looks like at the end of stage 2. Now, as I'm going to put it up on your screen right now, Elliott is now 30 points above the cut line, Truex still 24, Gragson still 15, Harvick still 1 above the cut line, Keselowski still 1 below, but now Matt DiBenedetto is 7 points below the cut line, and Denny Hamlin is 8 points below the cut line. Eric Jones, though, still has to win this race. That's the only opportunity he can make it into the next round, but I can confirm as they run right now, Denny Hamlin is going to get into the next round of the playoffs here as we go down into the corner, getting aggressive there, making some 3 wide moves up the inside of Blaney and the 21 of Austin Cindric. So now we move back up into P5 to the back of Hamlin, but look at the 9 car of Chase Elliott. He's already long gone now as you see Kyle Busch battling side by side with Eric Jones in the McLaren. Is now I'm right behind this battle of Hamlin, who's side by side with Jones now as we go down to this bus stop chicane. So really just trying to keep the car in good shape here because we really paid the price when we damaged our car earlier. There's some contact between the 02 and the 11, pushed Hamlin. Jones pushed Hamlin there a little bit wide now, so I'm going to actually get to the back of Hamlin and push him ahead of Eric Jones now. So Jones drifts down to now the 5th spot here as we come through out of oval turns 4 into that final chicane. So now we're up inside the top 4 and we have a chance to pass Denny Hamlin right here. We know we're faster than Hamlin, so we don't waste any time here, and we're going to actually move up into P3 if we can complete this pass as we go down into turns 1. But Elliott now already several seconds in front of myself here as we go into turn 2. So now we put our focus on the back of the 18 of Kyle Busch now as we come through the next few corners. So 5 seconds, actually just over 5 seconds between myself and Chase Elliott. That was definitely disappointing, but we would close in on the back of Kyle Busch and waste no time whatsoever lunging up the right-hand side of him here as we go down into the corner now with 11 laps to go in this race. Side by side, we had a battle with Kyle Busch earlier for the 2nd position, and it's going to continue here now as we go down into the right-hander. If we can clear him right here, we'll be in really good shape. Denny Hamlin even getting up into the mix a little bit now against his teammate Kyle Busch. Hamlin in a position where, of course, every single point is going to be huge for him now as we barely clip that barrier there, but fortunately don't get any damage out of it now as Hamlin side by side with Kyle Busch as we go into oval 1. So they would scrap it out here as we came through. Now approaching 10 laps to go in the race. A little bit aggressive there through that chicane, but we get through to the final 10 laps now and just try to focus in on running down the 9 of Chase Elliott now, as it was a very, very big task to try and even get close to that 9 car. He is now 6.7 seconds ahead. I hadn't gained anything on him. So we come through now to towards the halfway point of lap 21, and I'd finally just kind of found something, started to settle in and just kind of get confident with myself in this car, and we started actually reeling in the 9 car of Chase Elliott. The only spot I was really losing time was still that bus stop chicane. I just could not figure that out, but we come through now to 8 laps to go. We had closed the gap down to 5.2 seconds after running our fastest lap of the race. So we were starting to find something here, and then we cut it down to 4.2 seconds now as we got back onto the oval part of the track here on lap 23. We come through to lap 24. We had cut it down to 4.0, so 4 flat now as we go go down into the second turn. So just continuing to reel in the 9 of Chase Elliott. But the big question was, do we have enough time? We come through a lap later now on lap 25, and now I've got Elliott within my sights. There's actually trouble behind us, so Harrison Burton in the 95 Lightning McQueen scheme has some trouble on the exit of the bus stop. No caution. The green flag stays out as it's really just a one-car incident, but he blows that engine, and everybody's just kind of stuck behind him there, including Chase Briscoe, a playoff driver who's locked into the next round with that win earlier in this round of 12 now. As like I said, we got that 9 car now within our sights. It was down to 3.5 seconds, and when I have a car within my just kind of view, I have a lot better time just kind of hitting my marks and running them down. So it was down to 3 seconds flat here as we came through on the lap 26. Time running out quick, and it was looking like we weren't going to get any cautions at this point. This race has been green the whole time other than the stage breaks now as we come through that bus stop chicane, approaching the final 3 laps here at the Charlotte Roval as we go down into Oval 3. We had now closed into 2.6 seconds on the back of the 9 of Chase Elliott. So every 10th I was gaining, it was just building up that confidence even higher now as we come through towards the oval section again on this 27th lap. And you can just see how close we had gotten to the 9 now at this point of Elliott here. As we were now 1.3 seconds back. We were very close. Hamlin in third, over 10 seconds behind. That was actually the field light comes on, which I didn't even realize field was going to be an issue, and all of a sudden that was a completely brand new situation thrown at us. And now I'm like, I don't know if we're going to make it to the end of this race, but no matter what, we are locked in on points to this next round after picking up enough stage points in this race that we're just going to full send anyways to the finish here. Now there's actually more trouble behind us here in oval turns 3. Eric Jones in the McLaren goes around. No caution here as it's going to stay green now as he's going for another loop here, and he's going to potentially collect the 10 of Matt Benedetto, who's trying to make it into the next round. He gets involved now as we're going to have a bunch of cars actually get into the pit lane all of a sudden here on the final couple laps of this race. So cars are coming into the pit lane after that happening, and now I'm realizing that Chase Elliott might actually come into the pit lane as well at the end of this lap. We are now on the final 2 laps here at the Charlotte Roval, but a huge change of events here is to see me going into the interior looking at the fuel number, but a McLaren playoff driver in a must-win situation crashes out. That's the end of his day. He collects Matt Benedetto, another playoff contender as well, who's trying to fight his way into the next round. So who knows what's going to happen at this point now, is Denny Hamlin as well looking to make it in, but Martin Truex Jr. as well with the DNF early in stage 1. Who knows if he's going to even make it into this next round of the playoffs. A whole lot of stuff going on right now as it's going to continue. Chase Elliott into the pit lane here, coming to the final lap in the Charlotte Roval. Like I said, I stay out. We're just full sending, just hoping that we can somehow make it to the end on field as we come through leading at the start of the final lap here in the Charlotte Roval. Everybody coming into the pit lane except for myself as we nearly get bitten by the Tom's Heartburn turn there as I drove in way too deep. We come out behind our teammate of Kyle Larson actually as I go up the right hand side of him here, but now we lead on this final lap. But can we make it to the end of this race? I looked at the fuel again in the interior. It gives you an exact number on that dash, and it was at 4 now as we come through here for the rest of this infield section, and I'm just hoping we can make it. I didn't feel like just driving slow and saving time. I just said, you know what, we're just going to go as hard as we can on this final lap and just try to get to that finish as quick as we can. Closing now on the back of the 32 of Corey LaJoie as we exit onto the oval section now. And now I was realizing we might be in trouble here. The fuel is down to 2, and sure enough, the car starts to run out of fuel on the exit of oval turns 2. But do we have enough to get around the track here as we go down into this bus stop chicane now as Kyle Larson closes in on the back of us, trying to remain on track, because if we get a course penalty, I don't even know if the car is going to get going here now, as we are definitely in trouble. And sure enough, we were in big trouble, because at the time I went into oval 3, we were going about 20 miles per hour, and now the 9 of Chase Elliott is going to come through and repass me here to hang on, I guess you could say, to win this race here in the Bank of America ROVAL 400. But now the problem was other drivers are going by me. Denny Hamlin goes through. He takes second place. Kyle Busch is going to go through. And now I'm realizing we're not even going to get a top 10. I could have went into the pit lane there, but I felt like that would have been cheap because it would have made our car go faster. But now I'm just trying to find a way to get into the finish of this race into the top 10. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen either. We're going to miss out on the top 10 here, trying to make it to the finish. Harvick, the 21, they all go by. Here comes the 2 of Keselowski's. I'm just limping this thing to the line. The 96 of Brandon Jones, and here comes the 88 of Byron, but not enough from him. And all of a sudden, we drop down into P15 here in the Bank of America ROVAL 400. So very disappointing way to end things now as Chase Elliott picks up the victory here at the Charlotte Roval. What a chaotic final few laps here, by the way, to say the least. And we're about to see what happened in the playoff picture, because I mean, I'm just kind of dissecting everything that happened right there. I don't really know what happened. Noah Gragson down in 30th place, but who knows what the playoff grid looks like. But of course, you're about to see exactly what it looks like. Jones actually did not DNF, by the way. He remained in the race, but Martin Truex Jr. made it by 1 point over Matt Benedetto. Keselowski misses it by 2. Gragson, who went into the final stage 15 above the cut line, ends up getting eliminated by 3 points. Hamlin made it by 3. Harvick made it by 2. But Martin Truex Jr., who DNF'd in stage 1, advances by 1 point. You cannot get it any closer than that there. So what a crazy finish and change of events here in the Charlotte Roval it was. Now, as that will, of course, do it for this episode, as we see the points going into the Xfinity Series for the final round before the round of 4. But, of course, the main thing is, what does the Cup Series grid look like? We go into this round of 8, 3 races before we decide the final 4, and we are 28 points above the cut line. Elliott, 16 points above the cut line there. So he's now got 4 wins on the season. Martin Truex Jr., 12 points above the cut line after making it by 1 point. Kyle Busch above by 6. Hamlin, Briscoe, Bowman, Harvick, the 4 drivers on the outside looking in. Harvick, Bowman got quite the task if they want to make it into the final 4. But as always, if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. And before we end this episode, I just want to say a quick thank you to the Going Racing members of MJ, Aiden, James, Joseph 9001, RJ, Timothy, Bubba Jr., Illinois Diecast, Devin Roth, as well as Movement. You guys help me out a lot, as I always say, and I really appreciate it. And thank you to everybody for taking the time out of the day to watch this episode. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.